we're going to learn about some people who helped to build houses. We had learned about the baker, we read about the baker, we learned about the weaver, and we made our weavings. Remember the people that made the cloth? And we learned about the hat maker. And in our Seth story, the lady went to, Seth's mom went and bought some hats, didn't she? She bought silk hats and felt hats, and we saw what the material felt looked like. Well, today we're going to learn about house builders. And the first tradesman that you're going to hear about is called a bricklayer. A bricklayer builds walls and houses using bricks, like he's doing in that picture. Bricks, here's a brick, a real brick, are rectangular blocks of clay that have been baked in the sun or in a special oven called a kiln. When the clay is baked, it dries and hardens, so it can be used for building walls. The bricklayer lays his bricks out in rows, and he uses a sticky mixture called, you know?
Mortar.
What, Matthew?
Mortar,
right. Here he is. He's got some mortar on this board right here. And he's using it, and he's putting it on his wall like that to make them stick together. The bricklayer uses his bricks in rows, and he uses the mortar to hold the bricks together. Mortar is made of sand and water and a type of rock called lime that can be crushed into tiny pieces. In that picture, you see him laying some bricks like he would have done in colonial Williamsburg. Now, we talked about how when we look at our walls here in our classroom, they don't have bricks, but they have what they call, they're bricks, but they're blocks. And we can see them here. They're bigger than a regular brick. But look where the mortar is. Here's some mortar. Here's some mortar. Here's some mortar here. Here's some mortar here. And when we make a brick wall, when the bricklayer makes a brick wall, he puts his bricks together like this. He makes his bottom layer. He lays the brick down, puts some mortar down, lays the brick down, puts mortar here, lays this brick up against it. So it's like this. But when he goes to make the second row, he can't put it right like this and put it right like this, because if he does, and a car or somebody comes along and bumps into the building, watch what happens. It splits right open. So he has to make it strong. He has to put these two together, and then this one has to go across the top like that. That's the reason you can see in these lines that, look, the mortar doesn't go straight up. It's here, and then it's over here, because he laid this brick on top where these two met, halfway where those two met, because that makes it for a stronger brick. He's using a special tool when he's making that wall. He's using a special tool that might look like this, or it might look like this. These are called trowels. So he would mix his cement together, and he would take it, and you can see he's got one that's shaped like a triangle. Do you see it in his hand here?
Yeah.
Right here? And he's laying that mortar down, and he's going to flatten it. I think this would be an easier one, because it's almost the same size as the brick. Look, I could flatten it all off, and then I could lay another brick, only I'd have to lay it out here, like this. I couldn't lay it right on top, because that would match it up, the mortar would match up in straight lines. We want it to be off-centered a little bit, so we'd put it up like this. Then he might take this small one and scrape the extra mortar off the side, so that he wouldn't have that all sticking out, going down over. Reese, you need to sit down, honey. So I'm going to see if you can remember some of the things that we talked about. Can you name the 3 tradesmen that we talked about in this story? Can you tell me one of them? Roy.
A bricklayer.
A bricklayer, excellent. What was another one, Matt? A stonemason, and we call him a mason sometimes. And what else? Grady. A carpenter. He could have been one that we used. What does a carpenter do with a hammer? Allison.
Nail stuff in.
He nails the things down, doesn't he? And what craftsmen use, what's the stuff used that they hold the bricks and the stones together? Do you remember what that's called? Matthew?
Mortar.
Mortar, right. And who uses the mortar?
The bricklayer.
The bricklayers and the stonemasons, right. And
And what is brick made out of? Do you remember?
Hard sand.
Hard sand, yeah. So if we make a brick wall, what are we putting in between the bricks to make it stick together?
Cement.
And do you remember the word that we used for that cement?
Sand?
No, mortar.
Mortar.
Do you remember that? Mortar? And the people who do the brick walls, what are they called? What job?
Mason.
Oh, masons. What are we using here?
Bricks.
And we had two people. We had a mason and we had...
A bricklayer.
You got it. So we are bricklayers, right? And what did masons do?
That's it. Cement.
They didn't use brick, they used... They didn't use brick. Remember we had a brick and we had something else that we passed around? Good for you. So what do masons use?
Stone.
Stone. So it was really good that we had that stone here and that brick, huh? Okay, so you're a bricklayer and you are putting mortar between the bricks to make them stick. But we're going to pretend. So we're going to be using... What are we using? Sand, which is close to what?
Cement.
Yeah. It's close to cement. It's kind of like the same thing. Has the same ingredients. So now you're going to gently shake the sand so it sticks with the glue. Are you ready to put your mortar together? With your brick? Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, now, how do we get this all over the glue? What are we going to do? Good job. Now, what I want you to do while this is drying is I want you to build a brick wall. Now, look at your bricks, okay? Do you have a brick over 2 on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, will you show me how to build a brick wall while yours is drying? Go ahead. You use the blocks. Show me how to do a brick wall.
Look at Nicole's up there.
You are the bricklayer. Awesome! Keep going. See if you can make a long wall as well as a tall one.